Clark. This is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. Jiggly, wriggly and giggly are amongst the funniest words in the English language, researchers say. Alternatively, the same research has also revealed the three scariest words in the English language, which are Boris Johnson PM. Edinburgh Zoo panda Yang Guang has had to have both testicles removed, putting future breeding plans in jeopardy. It's thought that visitors to the zoo will now get a better glimpse of Yang Guang, as he'll be seen leaning over the fence asking for his ball back. Joining me are, on my left, award-winning comic Neil Delamere, and next to him is author, presenter and journalist Martel Maxwell, and on my right, writer and comedian Jay Lafferty, and with her, it's stand-up and farmer Jim Smith. So in this round, our teams have to guess the two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. Neil and Martel, can you tell me the two stories mixed together here?
Theresa May continues to try and get support for
climate change.
Mrs May's
Trying to convince people
her Brexit deal
will deliver hotter, drier summers within 50 years.
Two stories in there. Neil Delamere, what do you think our first one is?
I think it's Theresa May who is heading around the country to sell this Brexit deal that looks increasingly moribund. It's like a cross between a bus tour and a visit to Dignitas at the moment. I don't think she's going to get this vote through Parliament, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, this is it. She's trying her best, Theresa May. She's been defending her proposed Brexit deal in the Commons in the face of sustained criticism from the opposition and many Conservative MPs as well. She has been travelling around to try and get the deal through. What do you think of this, Martel? Will this deal ever make it through Parliament?
It doesn't look like it can make it through Parliament. And you'd think she would have to go, but she's the woman who survives anything. She called a general election, lost her majority. She lost 2 Brexit secretaries. There's nothing that she doesn't seem to be able to weather. But it's just so long and drawn out. Nobody told us when we went to vote it was going to be so boring and so many mistakes had been made.
And other European countries could vote it down as well, because like the Spanish Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, which does sound like a made-up name, doesn't it? If you had to just... It sounds like a newsreader was just trying to... Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez met the Irish Taoiseach Patrick Murphy and had a chat with the German Chancellor Fritz von Lufthansa. You know what I mean? He could vote it down over Gibraltar. Now, he's OK at the moment, but, you know, that could put another spanner in the works as well.
Absolutely.
And the DUP are... Like, the DUP, in fairness to them, they stick to their principles. They are the hardcore evangelical. There's lads in the DUP that make The Handmaid's Tale look like Love Island.
I really, from a farming point of view, because obviously I'm born and brought up in Blairgowrie, which is famous for soft fruit production, which the last 30 years have been used to a lot of Eastern Europeans coming over to pick the berries. And just days after we voted to leave the EU, the German Chancellor Merkel called it right, because when she said, when it comes to Brexit, there'll be no cherry picking. And shiz, nobody's picking any cherries now.
He's right, you know. I'll argue with that.
I think it's a bit like tantric sex, isn't it? Because you're bored and frustrated and just waiting for the end to come. 50 Shades of May.
No.
But will there be a second referendum, which is an interesting question, because there might be a second independence referendum 2020 maybe, which is quite interesting, because when I came here in 2014, Nicola Sturgeon said that this is a once-in-a-generation event. Now, I don't want to back up any stereotypes here, but only in a country with such low life expectancy as Scotland is 6 years a generation.
I think he's probably nailed it. Jim Smith, final thought from you, Brexit and how we go forward now.
I'm worried, you know. I mean, I know there's migrating birds that aren't even coming back to this country. They're like...
So Brexit is our first story. Martel, what do you think our second story might be in the mashup?
Is this the first major update in 10 years by the Met Office that says that there will be a significant temperature rise if we don't stop with our carbon emissions, if we don't start lowering them? And they've even come up with some predictions of what this will be. So, for example, in Pitlochry, the temperatures could be rising by 0.6 degrees to 4.8 degrees. But
Oh, it's exciting, isn't it?
am I alone in thinking that'd be brilliant?
Oh, have you been to Pitlochry? The heater will be down to 1 bar. Great news. That's right. The news is that the Met Office has warned, of significant temperature rises in the decades ahead. UK summers could be over 5 degrees warmer by 2070, meaning the temperature in Inverness could reach 5 degrees. It's exciting news, this. So there we go. We've got global warming, temperature rises. Should we be excited, Neil, or is this a warning?
On the one side, Celts cannot deal with heat like this. No, like this is the end of days. We don't cope with this weather. I was on a stag party in Spain, and one of my friends from Ireland got sunburnt between the passenger door and the boot of the taxi. Getting his bag out. It was at night. He got moonburnt. Right?
What about you, Jim Smith? How will it affect you, the warmer weather in future years?
Well, I've been a bit of a ginger. I'm a bit worried, along with Jay here, that, forget factor 50. It'll be Dulux emulsion. I'll be putting on,
And also, why are we worried about this? It's not going to happen until 2070. So, I read the stat first and went, oh, and then went, nah. Same reaction, do you know when you drive too fast on a motorway and your headlamps catch the reflective strips off the back of a police car, and you go, oh, yeah, highway maintenance vehicle.
So how do you think that as a nation Scotland is going to adapt to this? Could we become the next Costa del Sol?
Well, I'm from Greenock, so I'm excited because we got the Gourock pool, which is the only public outdoor swimming pool left in Scotland. We built that out of spite. It's lovely though, because I don't know if anybody's been to the Gourock pool, but on a sunny day, Gourock comes alive. And by alive, I mean drunk.
I have to say, I'm a bit worried. The cows are getting the blame of all this global warming. Because they're farting a lot. I've politely asked my cows to hold it in.
Thank you, Jim. Doing your bit.
It wasn't good. 2 of them flew away last week.
So there we go. Scotland being the new Costa del Sol is the correct answer. Environment Secretary Michael Gove praised the new study as an invaluable tool, a description which also half applies to Michael Gove. Thanks, Martel and Neil. A Scottish approach to global warming is correct. Another point for you. Jay and Jim, 2 stories in 1 clip for you. What do you make of this?
President Trump
Will attempt to land on Mars this evening.
to demolish trade with the US. It's an incredibly unhelpful
Mission dubbed the 6 minutes of terror for those involved.
I think our first story is our favourite Mr. Donald Trump. I think it was about him saying that the US may not be able to deal with the UK after Brexit because of Theresa May's deal.
There you go. The US president told reporters the withdrawal agreement, it sounds like a great deal for the EU, but meant the UK might not trade with the US, which is great because it's learning Donald Trump to say words where you just have to say letters. So EU, UK, B&Q. What about you, Martel? Where do you stand in this? Should we take heed of what Donald Trump's saying? No deal with the US?
Maybe this is a warning shot that he thinks we can't deal with him. We have to trade with someone. And Theresa May's attitude is like, if we don't have a deal, we're all going to die and run out of water and cheese. We have to have a deal.
Wow, specifically cheese?
Cheese and Prosecco.
And Prosecco. Oh, now we're talking. This is... Suddenly, it just got real at this point.
See everybody in Edinburgh just turning up the volume. Prosecco, Margaret, Prosecco. If she mentions pate, we're turning off the television.
His newest thing is that he wants to make his own television channel, worldwide television channel. Can you imagine the sort of programmes that will be on Donald Trump's television channel? Just like makeovers with Melania. Start showing you how to signal for help using only a contour brush and a lip liner.
And I was down in Fife last week, and they're a bit worried because they says, I'm a bit worried if Trump looks at the map of Scotland, and sees we've got a nuke of Fife. I'm a bit worried they'll think we've got ballistic missiles.
So Donald Trump is, of course, part one of the mashup. Jim, what do you think our second story is?
I think the rumour is, Des, that NASA have landed a robot on Mars. That's pretty much the story.
OK, thank you for that great insight and detail from Jim. Even calling what some say is a fact as a rumour. So they're now faking the Mars landings, according to Jim. This is the story that US Space Agency NASA claim to have landed a new robot on Mars as we continue the search for another planet for us to ruin. The InSight probe aims to study the world's deep interior and make it the only planet apart from Earth that has been examined in this way.
It is quite exciting because one of the first things that they sent back, one of the images, it was when it landed, all the dust came up, so you couldn't see anything. Right, so there must be one guy in NASA, as the first picture came back, that just went, lens cap.
Oh. But this is the thing, they're saying we could now create a Martian colony. Who would you send to Mars if you had the chance?
As long as he would be okay, because we all love him, I'd love to send David Attenborough up, because I think that it's annoying not knowing what's actually going on. I'd like a blow-by-blow account, and he needs a wee change from animals.
OK, so you'd send David Attenborough up there just to see no animals, but just to look at just a 90-odd-year-old man, just send him up there to die. Here I am, face down in the rocks. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Not even the gorilla is staring back. The dust kicked up and the descent obscured much of the scene, but it was still possible to make out a small rock, one of the probe's feet, the sky and the horizon, and just in the distance, a Greggs. Yes, that was the plans to further explore Mars. And another point to you, Jay and Jim. Right, so this round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Jay and Jim, you're up first this time. Who's this?
Well, of course, this was a place that was... I'm trying to think what happened in the Second World War. What did we do in the Second World War? It was neutral, wasn't it? The Azores. What did we do in the Azores?
Jay.
That is Bojo, Mr. Boris Johnson.
Or as we say in Scotland, Bojos.
And he's in the news for gaffing again when he was Foreign Secretary, trying to record something for his Twitter feed and getting every single fact wrong, much like he did the entirety of his career. So yeah, that was Boris Johnson.
It is, of course, Boris Johnson. This is the footage that went viral of Boris Johnson's attempts to film a short video during a visit to Portugal back when he was Foreign Secretary, which sparked disbelief online with people asking how he was ever able to occupy that post. Jim, what do you think? Where's the future? Could he be the next Prime Minister?
No. That's a definite no. Honestly, I'll be building Adrian's Wall again if he gets in.
I think a new good job for him would be an I'm a Celebrity. Not as a celebrity, but as one of the things that goes inside the box with the celebrity.
Martel, what do you think is next for Boris Johnson? Where does he go from here?
Well, he's done it astoundingly well, actually. He's paid now £275,000 a year to write a weekly column for the Daily Telegraph, which probably involves a couple of hours a week. He's paid that. That's twice as much as he earned as Foreign Secretary. But he's got the support. The grassroots Tories love him.
There you go. Foreign Secretary, we know, is one of the great offices of state, and Boris Johnson, when he left office, it certainly was a state. Right, Neil and Martel, it's your turn now. Who is this, and why are they in the news?
We're very fortunate that he's reminding us of the regulations, delegating extremely well where necessary, making the right decisions and motivating, all the hallmarks of a great leader.
Is it Noel Edmonds?
We think it's Noel Edmonds. Let's see if you're right. You are. That is Noel Edmonds. So why are we talking Noel Edmonds this week?
Because Noel Edmonds is in the jungle. And people are talking about him because, well, for a couple of reasons. He's very buff, apparently, and he's 69 years of age, and he's all muscular and all the rest. And he uses magnets, electromagnets, to keep in shape. Genuinely, yeah.
This is, true. I heard this.
I use magnets to keep in shape myself as well. I spell out, "Stop eating, you fat bastard," on the fridge. It's very convenient.
Martel, are we starting to love Noel Edmonds again?
No. I think he's playing it to an inch of his life. He's doing a really good job. But you want the mask to drop. What I do like is it's like flying the flag for slightly older men. He's in good nick.
Yeah.
69 years old, looking fantastic. Nick Knowles, he's not old, he's in his prime, but he looks fantastic. I like that.
You think the older men are looking good?
Yeah, but why is he doing it? I know he wants to repair his reputation, but, like, he's worth millions. He's like those people, go, if I won the lotto, I'd still work. What are you talking about? If I won the lotto, I wouldn't even finish this show. I'm not joking.
By the way, I can tell you why Noel is so ripped, and this is actually a tragic story. He told the camp he honed his muscles after years of body shaming from a former colleague who'd repeatedly yell in his face the phrase "blobby, blobby, blobby." No wonder. The man's been tormented. I'm going to throw it to you, Jim, in this one. So what do you think, then? Have you caught much of Noel Edmonds in the jungle?
No. If I wanted to see folk living amongst the trees eating insects, I'd just go up to Aberfeldy. To be honest with you. There's indigenous people there that we've only just discovered,
It was quite sweet. He's got a code, a secret code that he is communicating with his wife through the camera, and I've got one of those for my husband as well. And but again, like Martel and Neil were saying, that everybody's been going on about what a great body he's got for a 69-year-old man, what an amazing body, and he does have a great body, but I think it's a bit unfair because, like, for myself, growing up in Glasgow, I don't really have a comparison to that because most 69-year-old Glaswegian men's bodies are buried. So it's hard.
That is a box you don't want to open, you're right.
I had a game show. I was going to call it Meal or No Meal, and everyone at work in the farm had to bring out their peace boxes.
Is that where they solve work?
No, everyone's standing behind a peace box, you see, and Neil will come along, and then so you pick someone, and then they're like, well, so if you've got like ham and cheese, do you want to take a punt and maybe go for like pick box number 5, which might have a prawn sandwich. A better sandwich.
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
It's in early development stages.
Famished I'm a Celebrity campmates have shed a combined 4 stone after a week on minimal food rations. Some of them are said to be unrecognisable, so not any different to the moment that they first went into the jungle. Yes, Noel Edmonds is the right answer. 2 points go to Neil and Martel. As you may be aware, so much of our news is about public opinion. So for this round, we've gone out and found some people to comment on the news. Neil and Martel, for your team, we spoke to Glasgow vintage shop manager Claudia. So what story do you think that Claudia is talking about?
I think that the traditional places are just more accessible to everybody. What's the alternative? Like wine bars or something like that, or just going to hipster cafes? There's only so many coffees you can drink.
Right, some good chat there from Claudia. Not quite sure what she's on about. Maybe you'll know. Martel, what do you think the story is?
Yes, is this the story that 11,000 pubs have closed in Britain over the past decade? Sad news, it's gone from 50,000 to 39,000, but for every 2 that close, 1 cafe pops up. But the interesting thing is the jobs in pubs have actually gone up 6%. So I think the pubs are just getting bigger and selling more food.
It's good that jobs aren't going because that's a good thing. I mean, but Scotland and Ireland, we do need to kind of maybe lessen our drinking a little bit.
So?
Ireland is so alcoholic on a map, it looks like it's in the recovery position, if you know. It's just kind of like So
you're right, and Scotland's in that position of leaning against a wall. You know that? Please a minute. I don't know if I'm going to spew or pee. Just wait. There we go. It was the other end. It was the third one. Sorry, mate. Sorry. Is this a sad moment for our country?
It depends on the pubs that are closed.
Right.
I don't like the other sort of pub I like. I like a pub in the west coast of Ireland or in the Highlands of Scotland, a small pub. I want to go into a pub and meet a fella who will tell you about the time he met a mermaid. You know that?
Well, it was fairly unexpected now, to be honest with you. Because we were in a Tesco at the time. And I saw her and she walked over. And she was at the frozen food counter just staring longingly at the fish fingers. I said, "You're lost." She said, "I am." At first, I thought she was just wearing a onesie. You know what my father always said? Onesies are just overalls for bastards.
I'm like you, Neil. I like the kind of pub, you know, when there's an old boy sitting in the corner with a pig with a dog collar on it. You know, just, you know, someone that's killed a guy before. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, all these cafes that are now replacing them. Is it like in Glasgow here? Are folk going? Then they go in there. It's a Rangers cafe.
The issue that I have with the kind of cafe culture is all the hipster nonsense that goes with it. You know, things like, "Oh, what is it you do? I'm a barista." You don't get that in other walks of life. Margaret in Greggs doesn't call herself a patisserie executive. Margaret's a diabetes dispenser and she's proud of it. Nightmare.
Fiver in. That's all I'm saying. Margaret, fiver in. Here's a fiver in. Give you a tenner. It was a fiver. Fiver in. Can I just say as well, though, this thing they're saying cafe culture is new. It's not. I grew up in the Gorbals in Glasgow. Every day we saw people sitting outside, tables, chairs, albeit it was another eviction. It was a warrant sale.
It's the pubs of the future, you know, if Brexit kicks in, are going to look very much like the pubs of the 1950s, isn't it? We're not going to have Prosecco. This is a total true story. When I was a student, I went home and I went into a pub in Greenock, which will remain nameless, and I asked for a Prosecco, and the guy just looked at me and gave me a blue nun with Sprite in it.
Jay and Jim, this time we spoke to auctioneer David. What story is David telling us about here?
You know, after a long week working, you know, commuting back and forward, you know, you just want to sit, especially Friday night and Saturday, just sit and chill and relax, let the kids get on with it. So, you know, when we were kids, we get out, we had lots of adventures we could have because there's nothing else to do. And of course, you know, why not just get out and about, get manky, get dirty, get back when you're starving, get a piece out the window and then go on from there.
So what do you think that David was talking about then? Jay?
I think he was talking about the fact that children spend less time outdoors now than their parents or grandparents did. It drives me nuts, this, because I totally agree with it. I feel like children don't go out enough anymore. They've all got their iPads and their Switches and all these types of things. And they've got no resilience, children now. Don't know if you've noticed this, but little kids don't have any resilience. Like Jim and I, we went to sleep in cots that were lead-based painted. I mean, we cycled around with no helmets on, and it shows. Honestly, but do you know now, children now, for the first 8 years of their life, they sit in a thing called a car seat. Jim never sat in a car seat. Didn't have car seats in the tractors, he just rolled around the back. It was fine.
But Jim, how do we do this? How do we change the mindset of our children? How do we get kids back outside?
I was privileged to be brought up in a farm. You probably noticed, and it's a great education, you know, and it can, because we didn't have any sex education back in the 80s, you know, but I used to help my dad put the rams out with the ewes, you know, for mating, you see. So it's 1 ram to 40 ewes. So from the age of 5, I thought this was kind of the normal ratio for all species. So 12 years later, I'm at a youth club disco in Blairgowrie, and stumble across a hen do, and I'm like, aye, this is doable.
Martel, what do we do then? How do we get our children outside and playing and enjoying nature?
You open the door and put them out. I've got 3 boys, age 5, 4 and 1. And
Which one's the favourite?
So, 5, 4 and mistake.
And we live in some fields, and whenever they don't go out because it's raining, it's me being lazy, hands up. They don't think anything of the rain. You put them out, they love it. You go out with them, I go out with them, and we do pinecone fights.
I'd hope so, because they're 5, 4 and 1. They have to fend for themselves, just
No, I do
when
go
they're all
out.
being raised by wolves.
Let them stay inside. They're going to be spending enough time outside when they can't afford to buy a house.
That's good. You can't argue with that. Yes, of course, this is the story about kids not spending enough time outdoors. My gran definitely spent more time outside than I did, but that's because her house was bombed in the Blitz. You didn't see that coming, did you? Neither did she, to be fair. It was difficult. Yes, getting the kids back into the great outdoors is the right answer, and 2 points go to Jay and Jim. And we've raced towards it. It's time now for a final quick-fire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
Painful and pointless.
That was former Prime Minister Tony Blair there talking about his last meeting with Gordon Brown. Jay loves my Gordon Brown impression.
I really don't. It creeps me
I'm not
out.
allowed to do it anymore. Oh, Jay. Oh. Oh, it's lovely to have you back on the would you like to see my fiscal policy? Right, let's go. Fingers on buzzers. Let's go for it. The average Briton spends 8 months of their adult life doing what?
Is it reboiling the kettle just after they've reboiled the kettle?
You always do that as well, don't you?
Just might not be quite warm enough, isn't it?
Wondering if it's penetrating or rising damp.
Oh, God, that's...
Oh, my. That, by the way, I had a heart attack when she started that. I'll let you know.
I mean, I do it a lot in my job. Sorry.
I don't want to know what you do in your job. The average Briton spends 8 months of their adult life sitting on the loo. That's right, going to the toilet. What do 60% of us believe?
In life after love?
Thanks to Cher for that answer there. Aberfeldy's a lovely, lovely place.
60% of us believe in conspiracy theories.
That's what they want you to think.
True.
Painful and pointless.
And there we go. The klaxon is gone. Tony is blared, which means it is all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Jay Lafferty and Jim Smith. Oh, but it was so close. Commiserations to Neil Delamere and Martel Maxwell. And we'll leave you with the breaking the news. Breaking news, Justin. Silent disco tours in Edinburgh are under threat following locals' complaints about noisy crowds of enthusiastic tourists. A council spokesperson said, we want people to visit Edinburgh, but they've got to remember they're not here to enjoy themselves. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye.